In the middle of the night, off the rough coast of Ireland, the calm top of the Atlantic Ocean concealed a very important operation that was about to happen. The Irish Navy and the elite Army Ranger Wing, which is known for its specialized training and preparation for battle, were closing in on the MV Matthew, a Panamanian-registered cargo ship that didn't look like much. This was not just any patrol or security check regarding Ireland's past. It turned out to be the most important operation ever to stop drug use. So what exactly was found in this bust? And what does this mean for Ireland? As the Navy boats crept up on the ship, the sound of helicopters could be heard through the night sky. Ireland's Army Ranger Wing, which is like the Navy SEALs, was ready to carry out a raid that people would remember for a long time. With the most up-to-date military gear and training, these spies were about to face a situation that would put all of their skills to the ultimate test. They had to move quickly and accurately because what they were about to find on the MV Matthew would show the dirty, deep side of drug trade on a global scale. To get to the deck of the MV Matthew, the soldiers rappelled down from the helicopters while wearing night vision goggles and carrying heavy weapons. This dangerous move, which was conducted in total darkness, showed how well they had trained and were ready for maritime operations. They moved quickly and quietly, which kept the element of surprise, which is very important in situations with so much at stake. After they secured the ship, they saw a shocking scene. They found a huge amount of drugs hidden in the ship's cargo bay. 2,253 kilograms of cocaine, which was so much that it was hard to even comprehend. This haul, which was worth about 430 million pounds on the street, was not only a record for Ireland, but it also showed how big and risky the drug trade is when it crosses foreign waters. The fact that this huge amount of drugs was seized was a big blow to drug trade networks, and proof of how well countries can work together to fight these kinds of crimes. What was found out about the MV Matthew's cargo showed a complicated web of criminal ties that went across several countries. The cocaine came from Colombia and was made by notorious Colombian Gulf Clan, a drug crime group known for being cruel and running large-scale operations. The fact that the drugs were going to Europe shows how far these criminal networks stretch. But the link to Colombia was only the beginning. The operation, which involved up to 20 European gangs, was thought to have been planned from Dubai. It was a feat of logistics and planning that showed how complex modern organized crime is. The Irish Kinahan cartel became one of the most important of these groups. The notorious Kinahan family runs the Kinahan cartel, which has its roots in Dublin but has spread its power far beyond Ireland. Over the years, they've made ties with big drug cartels in South America, mostly in Colombia, and are now major players in the drug market in Europe. Their participation in this operation shows they are making a plan to do more business around the world. Even though they are being weakened by ongoing law enforcement efforts, their role in this operation showed how powerful they are in the global drug trade. In this case, it meant that the Kinahans had kept their financial and organizational skills up to date, which let them plan or take part in such a big importation scheme. But the plan to sneak drugs into the country wasn't actually perfect. A smaller fishing boat that was also part of the operation ran aground, which was the defining mistake that caused the whole smuggling plan to fall apart. This small mistake set off a chain of events that led to the dramatic attack on the MV Matthew. But the fact that such a large amount of drugs was successfully seized did not come without some problems. When investigators tried to stop such a big operation, they knew that it could lead to deadly retaliation and power struggles between the different gangs involved. The fear of gangland violence after this bust was a stark warning of how violent and cruel these criminal organizations are. The action showed how to work together and share information with other countries. The federal government in the United States told the Irish government about the incoming shipment. This started a chain of events that ended with the raid. This partnership showed how global the fight against drug trafficking is, and how important it is for agencies and countries to work together. This was more than just a record-breaking drug bust. It was also a look into the complicated and often secret world of international drug smuggling. The fact that many drug gangs and other criminal groups were involved in this operation showed how many resources and networks these groups have access to. Also, it showed how important Irish gangs are in the European drug market, and how they are linked to South American groups, the Kinahan cartel in particular. But this event did more than just make the operation a success. It also brought up important questions about the ongoing fight against the global drug trade. Just the sheer size of the drug haul showed how much people in Europe want illegal drugs, and how far criminal groups will go to meet that demand. It also brought to light how hard it is for law enforcement to keep up with how these smuggling networks change their methods and paths. As a result of the operation, people were more alert and ready for possible revenge from the crime networks that were broken into. Such a huge shipment was supposed to have cost the gangs involved a lot of money, which could have caused fights within the cartels and changed the balance of power in the criminal underworld. There was a real fear that drug-related violence would rise, and the officials were getting ready for what might happen. While the operation off the coast of Ireland was a big win in the fight against international drug trafficking, it also served as a warning of how hard this fight is still. The fact that the raid was successful shows how brave, skilled, and determined the police who were involved were. But it also showed how important it is to stay alert, work together, and come up with new ideas to fight the threat that foreign drug cartels and other criminal groups are always changing. So the stopping of the MV Matthew and the following seizure of its illegal cargo was a major turning point in the history of drug enforcement around the world. It showed how complicated and dangerous the global drug trade is, how strong and resourceful crime networks are, and how important it is for countries to work together to fight these threats. Because of the operation, law enforcement won a big battle, which hurt the drug trafficking operations of several gangs. It also shows us how the war against drugs is an ongoing one that needs countries and agencies all over the world to stay alert, change, and work together. For similar videos, have a look at your screen.